certainly would.
And as Loki here can attest, I can definitely grind in a game and put my nose to a grindstone, but even I
He
have
can,
a burnout point.
he'll wear his face out.
Well, I'll put my nose in that grindstone and completely wear off and completely grind out my entire skull off of my shoulders. But
Hmm.
even then, that's the moment when I just stop because it's like, all right, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
There is a limit to your autism. Just saying.
And know what
Some
it
people,
is.
well, I know where it is because it's sometimes hard to find that. I've hit it a couple of times. That's just coming up with a scenario that'll be interesting for Vampire. Started off simple, but do like a little mini plot. I'm trying to debate on what I want the mini plot to be. Something interesting, something that I can start but also wrap up in a couple weekends of play. That's not basically think what takes us maybe, I don't know, a couple months of play to wrap up in terms of a story.
The wrap up alone can take so long.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You have to at least you don't have to completely tie up every loose end, but you need enough wrap up to where you can go, okay, I think that the story has been for the most part concluded in a satisfactory way that the players feel satisfied with. And for some people, that is a very tall order to ask. But it's also expected of your DM.
Yeah. Or within reasonable.
Oh, sometimes your players do have reasonable expectations. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
I do like someone's analogy of it
Oh.
the video I sent you earlier today.
Ah.
I don't know if you've listened to it. Probably not,
Maybe.
but it's fine.
A huge maybe. I've done a lot of stuff today. I've not watched that one yet because I believe you sent it. Yeah, I was in the middle of doing some stuff at the time.
Okay,
But I will
that's fine.
definitely watch it.
There's the as he puts it, the Aussian fantasy that everyone thinks the GM is this all-powerful person, when in reality, you're the person behind the curtain, pulling the levers and everything to make the whole game work. And sometimes, the curtain gets pulled back, and you gotta be like, "All right,
Hey, hey, listen.
you,
Chill your ass, guys. Chill your
listen."
ass.
It's like, listen, all right, you if you want to do the, like you said, this was in response to a question asked to him of like, okay, what if my players basically, do this other thing, walk off the path, and basically wants this big encounter that I've improvised up to, but I'm not ready and able to run it in that session. What do I do? It's like, well, sometimes you gotta come clean to your player, like, okay, I kind of want to wrap it up here. It takes too much to do that right now. I would rather end the session on a good note rather than do a
Sour.
poorly done version of this, because and it sour the experience, because everyone comes to the table wanting to have fun and have these fun experiences and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the guy gets like 3 or 4 Pathfinder questions, 2 or 3 Pathfinder questions in the video that he just does as a joke.
Oh.
Because unfortunately, for some people, they act like They act like Mormons when it comes to Pathfinder.
Hold it. Just need to
Jesus.
check your belongings before I can let you through.
I see it in every D&D comment section. There's at least a couple of them that are like that. You should play Pathfinder.
Because it's our job to ensure illicit goods
Pathfinder
don't make it
solves
into
all
the
your
city
problems. No, it
for
doesn't.
the safety of our citizens.
I'm gonna be
So
flat
under
out with you
your
guys. I
orders,
played
we
Pathfinder
conduct
First Edition
random
for
bag
about
checks to try to
13
catch
years
those that
now.
choose to shirk our
It doesn't
laws.
solve your problems. You're still gonna have to do progressive maintenance on the
Thank you
system,
for being cooperative.
regardless if it's first or second.
All right. Looks good.
You're still gonna
free
have to
to enter
homebrew,
the
man.
city.
You're still gonna have to make decisions at the table that the rules don't cover.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes those choices can come back to bite you in the ass pretty damn hard.
Yep. To be fair, that's how Shanda feels about the fact that it was like, okay, so you're not allowed to have dominate person, dominate monster, and all that forbidden because of their forbidden arts magic. I'm like, okay. Next best option, Feeble Mind.
Yeah.
Well,
It'll
you're
take
stuck
away
in
your-
the campaign mode easy. I'm like,
Yep.
well, I mean, I was told no from, so I went for the next best thing I had as an option.
I was
And I
told
don't
no
have
from
a
the
lot
more
of options
fun
in general.
stuff. My fun stuff was on the Geneva
It wasn't so much
Conventions.
as told no, it's just... It wasn't so much I was told no, so much as it's a crime in wizard community to get those spells and use them on beings, and it's like... So what you're saying is that while it's illegal, I'm not allowed to do it, and there will be severe punishments for me to do it. Okay?
Mhm.
Then I'm going to treat it as if a kid who actually fears punishment and retribution from the law and doesn't want to give up the fact that he has a internship that he gets paid with, which is probably the most fantasy element of the whole game, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm at an internship at a secret organization, and I actually get paid for my internship. Huh? Secret organization. Yeah, that's pretty part of the course for any TTRPG campaign. Wait,
Right.
it's an internship and you're getting paid? That's so unrealistic.
Yeah. Hey, why are you getting paid for your internship? That doesn't work. Sorry, Leon, you just missed the Onyx.
Ah. Hey, Ron. Yeah, no, I was agonizing over that decision for a day and a half. It's just... both options are just so good. It's... Yeah, it's... Again, I love one of the comments in that video. It's literally just a comment, that question that was like, meow 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 meow, meow 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 meow, meow 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 meow, question mark. And so he starts responding to that question by meowing back.
Okay,
Good
that
sense
is
of
pretty
humor.
good. Yeah. How is your homework going, Leon? Oh. Well, that is not
Also,
what I
my
wanted.
other favorite question in that video. All right, where do you draw an intervention at goblin adoption?
Very true.
It's like, I loved his answer. Which, if you don't mind spoilers,
I don't mind.
he's like, all right, if they adopt more than one, at the second one they start fighting for over who's the party mascot. If it's at 3, they try to kill each other. If it's at 4, they start unionizing. And then it snowballs from there. I'm like, that's actually hilarious. One second, I let my cat out here a bit.
Hey. Damn it. There it is. And he got schooled by my goat. Dude, nobody at this outpost? What the shit? Okay, I guess. Alright, let's wander on in this area and hopefully we can find a snow saber cat. Oh, hi! Goat. Okay. Where are these stupid saber cats? Damn, that's a downed mammoth. Come on, hit him with a hammer. Aw, I wanted to see him hit him with a hammer. That would have been hilarious. What's in combat with me? I shouldn't be fighting anything. I left that thing the hell alone. Whoop, 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 whoop. Nope, 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 nope. Ow. Ow. Hey, bandits. I got something for you. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Got him. Ah. See, why am I able to find fucking snow bears, but not snow saber cats? Like, legit, what the actual crap? What's that noise? What's that noise? They're like bones rattling. Okay, the fire here. Okay. Guess not ceiling. Go for myself. Be further up? The goat. Not my problem. I don't deal with giants. That's an adventurer's thing. Hello, Dutch. Welcome. How you been? Haven't seen you in a while. You fed the ducks? Excellent. Good to hear that they are properly fed and taken care of. Was your favorite duck there? Bunny. Seriously. Where are these snow saber cats?
Yeah, I'm back. I
Welcome
let
back.
a cat out. Then I noticed that I had to restock some of the sodas in the fridge, and then I come back in, move around a bit. Then another cat wanted out.
If you're letting them out, let me out too.
Well, one of them, like, he comes in to eat, but then he lives outside. And the one that wanted out, like, she'll come in when it's colder or hotter in terms of seasons, when it's those extremes. And then she becomes a house kitty for a bit at night.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't use the litter box in the house. She has to go out to use the bathroom because she doesn't ever use the litter box. So she was probably wanting out to go outside to use the bathroom. So she went out. Yeah, that's why it took a little extra time. I was just like,
Must you guys distract me so?
yeah.
Wait. See. Had some sleep. I woke up because my pups were just chewing on her bone in the bed. Well, at least your puppy was not chewing on a shoe or the bed itself. That's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, our Chihuahua mix that we got back in, I want to say, October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a point where she was chewing on my dad's bedroom shoes.
Ooh, yeah, no, no. Can't be doing that.
She's gotten better about it. All
Mm-hmm.
it's just it took a little bit to get her to that point.
Yeah.
A little puppy though.
Yeah. Well, I'm just happy that Dutch
Well-
got some sleep because there was, I think, he had a record of like 12 or 13 monsters in a single day.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. But today he managed, I think, just one, I hope. Come on. Thank you.
Also, then the Drake dropped a another saga ability, another saga horror story, which is the saga
Good.
virus. The thing's over like it's like 2 hours and a half.
Jesus.
There's so many parts to that horror story. And I do look, and I do have to agree with one point that's been a recurrent thing with horror stories. Is
Hmm.
people coming up and saying, "Well, if I was a part of that, I would leave." And it's
Sure
like,
you
okay,
would.
okay, do you have the capacity to recognize it? Because not all horror stories are like the offending character being cartoonishly evil. Usually there are good aspects to those stories that keeps people around in those groups. Or you know how you have that sense of FOMO, you know, fear of
Mhm.
missing out,
Oh yeah.
where it's very hard to get into groups. There's a reason why 5e is right now in the last couple of years as well. They've had that. They have had a problem with a shortage in DMs running games and an overabundance of players wanting to play games. So, you know, it's very hard to recognize certain things because
You just choose to ignore it.
well,
Because you finally
can,
found
you
a
can
group.
easily you can
Oh.
explain things away. You can convince yourself, or there are genuinely fun moments in a game,
Mhm.
and that's what keeps you there, or the memory of those fun moments is what keeps you locked in for a lot longer and causes you
Mhm.
to ignore the problems.
Yeah,
It's
when you
very
just
much
listen to.
a lot of times it very much is the boiling the frog analogy, because problems in TTRPG groups don't start out as giant boulders. They tend to be a tiny little bit of snow just falling at the top of the mountain before it starts to collect and pick up speed and then
Yeah.
gain mass. You have to understand that.
It doesn't start off absolutely god awful.
It doesn't start off awful. Now the flags very often
Are very subtle and hard to notice.
are very subtle, hard to notice, and you can miss them because they could be interpreted as
Yes?
personality quirks,
Need something?
or you can just miss details that would give you a warning.
Oh, this is how that character
be interpreted as a warning.
plays.
In this case, this was for this horror story. It was the DM
Oh,
who was
boy.
also a player in a couple games.
Okay.
And basically, the big problems with their games is they have severe control freak issues.
Those are the
And-
worst.
Yeah. And they like to make their NPCs like super unbeatable because they want to tell their story rather than Keep
we
in
love-
mind, chat and people listening. TTRPGs is a collaborative effort and a collaborative story told by you and the players. It's not your story. It's not just their story. It's the collective our story.
Mm-hmm.
Wh-
If you want to be
when we
your
tell their
story, go be a
stories,
writer.
You're each a writer in that story. You're each someone who contributed to that story. It's a collaborative work of enjoyment of fiction and play. And you contribute to that in details, actions, consequences, many things. And there's very few media that has that input in a collaborative manner. You could say so for things in a sense, but like for instance, video games and movies do take a lot of collaboration to make. But can you say the person that did and this is probably going to be a terrible example, but can you say the person that did the modeling for a game contributed to the story? Some would argue, well, yeah, because things working properly helps sell the story. While others can say, well, technically, no, they weren't part of the writing staff. They were just, the modeler. Their job is to do the modeling. Again, there's arguments for certain things, but in TTRPGs, very often you're collaboratively telling the story together. So it's very often you want to work with your GM to tell that story. And in turn, as a GM, you also want to know what the story your players want to tell and what they want to experience with your game. And this is where you have to have an interesting premise, but also your players must contribute to that premise and want to play that premise. Because otherwise there's no interest and there's no driving towards that premise, and they're going to try to do something else if it doesn't catch their interest. Where you
Oh.
get this is where you get the derailing of campaigns. This is where you get the law green text of how I derailed a campaign, or this is how you get the. Sometimes it makes an interesting story on the internet for people to enjoy reading, but it doesn't make for a great campaign or a great story told collaboratively with your group. And usually those green text stories are the results more of a game going badly and a player taking some level of agency in order to disrupt it because they're not having fun with the game. So they decided they want to move off the rails to tell a more
Damn
interesting
it.
story. What's the matter?
I died.
Oh. So what's the punishment for death in the game?
Nothing.
Checkpoint or?
Yeah. It's Skyrim. I moved over to Skyrim.
Oh, okay, Skyrim. Oh, okay, you're playing Skyrim right now. I didn't
Yeah,
notice
and
you had
it's
switched
I haven't.
over.
It's alright. And I haven't saved in a very, very, very long time.
Well, hopefully the autosave function mitigates it a little bit. I know it's not going to mitigate all of it, but
I haven't entered a building in a very long time. So my save was all the way back where I first started the Skyrim stream today. So all the stuff I picked up, all the levels I just gained are gone. Because I'm trying to hunt down fucking snow saber cats. And I don't know where the fuck they spawn. I've wandered around the Arctic tundra. I've found snow bears. but not a single goddamn snow saber cat. And I am level 12 right now. I'd think they'd show up by now, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, the cause of my death was an archer, an orc with a double-handed axe, and a mage.
Hmm.
I dragged a troll over to it so they could deal with the troll, and then I shot the orc in the face, hoping I could deal enough damage to kill him. No, I did not. And the orc was a lot closer to me than I thought when he swung, and he just dropped me. Because all I'm wearing is fur armor.
Hmm. Okay, so you're like early into the game.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to move on beyond fur armor because I'm playing essentially a huntress. So,
Oh, okay. Kind of like a role play
yeah.
style.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it's been rough. I also put the handicapped on me. I don't make my own weapons. The only thing I'm allowed to do at the forge is do baseline like item improvement and leather crafting. Otherwise, any gear I get, I purchase from a store. That's not my problem. Oh yeah. I found the destroyed Vigilant Stendar's cave. I found some giants camps. I looted obviously the Vigilant Stendars. I had a lot of stuff I could sell off. I've defeated a snow bear. And all of it is gone. And the punishment for dying in Dark Cloud 2, if you do a full game over, yeah, you go back to the last point you saved. There's no quick saves. It's an old PS2 game. You don't get quick saves. I'm not diving in and out of caves where it can auto-save me. This is the second time I've had a death that set me back about an hour. This one was like 30 minutes instead of an hour. It still hurts, you know? You still there?
I'm still here. I'm just thinking a little. But you have imposed a challenge on yourself, so it does make it difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I assume Khajiit, since you said Huntress, is
No,
that a fair...
Bosmer.
Ah, Bosmer. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. I let the chat decide the race. They chose Bosmer. And I also chose that I was a hunter.
Interesting.
I use alternate life starting
Oh.
for my game.
Oh,
So
okay,
I didn't
cool.
do the stupid cart thing. I start off at a camp near Helgen with some starting stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's quite an enjoyable little
You,
thing to have.
So, are you one that that is a part of the Green Pact, or are you more more Imperial?
I'm thinking Green Pact. Leaning more towards Green Pact.
Okay. Okay, so that makes your challenge a little more difficult because of the whole don't disturb plants and stuff.
Yeah. Which means I should
It also
probably...
has an unfortunate side effect where you might be a ritualistic cannibal.
Yeah, which means I should probably sell off all of my ingredients, huh? My alchemy ingredients.
You could just be imperial with that. That still has a more bandit vibe to it, more hunter vibe to it. You don't have to be full Green Pact.
I know, but it'd be more fun that way. I'm also trying to think, like, as a huntress in the wilds of Skyrim, you would still want to, like, you know, try and collect... Oh, that's right, I didn't...
Yeah.
You want to collect your plants for your, like, your concoctions, for your potions and such.
More you can't. It's more like dead fallen wood is more kosher than
Yeah. Plucking ingredients off the ground, like you would normally.
Yeah, it's some specifics with the lore.
So buying stuff from the store, like from an alchemist, would be okay. When it comes to ingredients.
Yeah, I think for the most part it'd be all right. 'Cause a lot of that's more planted and artificially grown, typically. Plus the stores. Meh.
Yeah.
It gets into some nitty gritty details that I'm not as interested in trying to impose that challenge on you.
Yeah.
So you can't craft your own gear, but can you improve it, like with
Oh
the improvement
no.
function?
Move it, goat!
Oh,
Yes, I can. But I'm not taking like any smithing skills at all. So the best I can get is fine.
you have low skill in it right now.
Yeah. Hey, giant. All yours, man. Don't mind me. Face those things instead of me, please.
Would
Two
you
werebears.
like to become a part of the Skyrim space program?
No, I want to leave that space program to the werebears that almost attacked me. Have at him, giant. No, Pat Goat, leave him alone. No, there's like two werebears that I was trying to... Cause I was trying to kind of follow my previous pathing to try and find the shit I lost. With some of it. No, game said, let's put two werebears here instead. Yeah, that was phenomenal. Yep, there they are. Please don't mind me. I have no issue with you guys. Seriously, why are there werebells out here for a level 12 person to fight? It's a little nuts.
Yeah. It was probably a mod that added them.
Oh,
Skyrim,
absolutely.
right?
Oh, absolutely it was. I had the more enemies. But...
That'll do it. Maybe one day we'll actually get werebores again in 3D.
maybe. That'd be pretty cool to see.
It would be. Or if we ever get that Black Marsh game, we could see were crocodiles.
I would love to see that.
I would love to see a Black Marsh game done well.
Yeah, that is true.
And
It's
if
so rich
anyone
in.
quotes online, no, it's not good.
Don't worry, I don't think anybody's gonna quote anything on that because it is a dead chat. It's mostly just a bot repeating the same thing over and over again. I'm going, Giant. Relax.
Okay,
I have a very, very,
fair enough.
very quiet chat.
So, while you're playing a game, you want to wax hypotheticals?
Sure.
Alright, I got a question for you that I think. I was listening to a video recently. So, you know how there was a time and a place when Vampire the Masquerade was more popular than D&D, which I
Yeah.
know that's heresy to say in our modern day. But it's true, chat. You have to understand this. It is true. There was a time when Vampire the Masquerade was bigger than D&D. And this was during the end of the TSR era and before the 3.0, 3.5 years. There was this time where Vampire the Masquerade was a far more recognizable TTRPG compared to D&D. But that came and went during from the 90s and fizzled out in the mid 2000s. But and this is to talk about the genre.
Fuck!
Talk about the genre of punk in general. We're talking about, the anti-establishment themes, the rebellion themes, all that stuff that you enjoy with that genre, whether it's in music, literature, what have you. Vampires, Gothic, or World of Darkness, specifically Old World of Darkness, is very much Gothic punk. But that one, Gothic punk as a style, has kind of faded out. But something that has remained consistent and eternal, or not eternal, that has aged far, far better and has grown more and more in popularity, is cyberpunk as a genre.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think contributed to, Gothic punk fizzling out while cyberpunk becomes much more popular? It didn't fizzle out at all.
Probably because I'm assuming it's happening around the 80s, 90s, when the future dystopia boom was starting to occur. What with Terminator and RoboCop and
RoboCop, Blade Runner.
later on, yeah, that. Probably that.
Oh yeah, definitely Blade Runner influences that genre. But even Terminator, RoboCop. I mean, you could argue Judge Dredd tributes to that.
Absolutely, Judge Dredd.
Or heck,
Matrix.
yeah, the Matrix definitely has elements that you could point to influencing it. And that's the thing. It's like early on, Gothic, cyberpunk had existed, but it was more niche at the time. And like I said, with the 80s and 90s having that that sort of era of rebellion and like angst and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that seeped into the zeitgeist of the culture,
That's far enough. Before I can
is
let you thread,
why
I
that
need to check you
zeitgeist
for illegal goods.
that zeitgeist is the exact reason that
This should
I think
only take a
Vampire the
moment.
Masquerade became more
Alright,
popular than
looks good.
D&D at that
You're free
time,
to enter the city.
at that time frame. But at the same time, I want to say it fizzled out because the problem with Old World of Darkness and its gothic punk aesthetic is, how do I put this? There was kind of this underlying feeling of futility to it,
Mm-hmm.
that your actions didn't have as much of an outcome as much as you would like to wish it to. Because no matter how hard you try in Vampire, you're not going to subvert the End Knights. You're not going to subvert Gehenna from happening.
Yeah.
Kane's going to come back. Everyone's shit's getting pushed in. That's just going to happen.
Hmm.
And that's just one of the nightmare scenarios. We're not talking about every single one for each of the game lines, which some of them happen concurrently.
Oh, hey, you stopped this one.
So,
What about this
imagine
one?
some of them well, one of them is the antediluvians waking up and the technocracy trying to deal with that threat. So when they tried to kill the antediluvian, they set off several nukes, a solar mirror nuke aimed specifically at it, and a
Mhm.
couple of other things to kill it. But one of those nukes was a magic nuke, and basically it pierced the veil of reality and went into the spirit realm
Whoops.
and detonated within the spirit realm. This caused the vortex, that is the literal representation of soul annihilation, to expand, and it killed several of the major power players in areas of the spirit realm, and this in turn basically affected the line. What's it called?
Mm.
It's not Geist is New World of Darkness. It's the Old World of Darkness one. I'm forgetting and I'm blanking, but I should know this. So I've been looking into it. No. Geist is New World. It's Old World is. Oh, I can look it up. I have internet. I have internet access. Why am I not just looking it up?
Because you don't always have internet access.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be less reliant on internet because sometimes I just don't have internet.
Hmm.
Or my internet's so slow, it's very hard to depend on surfing.
Yep.
Wraith. It was Wraith the Oblivion.
Ah.
So basically, it fucked the entire cosmology for Wraith the Oblivion. Because the Spirit Nuke shot expanded the void, the maelstrom that's in Wraith the Oblivion. That is the physical representation of your soul being completely shattered and destroyed and erased. It had this thing that was a physical embodiment of that concept within the spirit world. That if you go to it, you're not just dead, because in Wraith you're playing a spirit.
Yeah.
You're completely removed from existence. Like you are torn to oblivion, non-existent at that point. And the whole point of Wraith is to avoid being dragged into that kind of oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, to move on, make peace with it, and move on to the happier afterlife of. It's not necessarily heaven, but
whatever's there.
It's better than where you're at, because you're not fettered to reality and being held down by said fetters. It's the closest thing you'll get to a happy ending in Old World of Darkness is in Wraith the Oblivion. But it's also the most controversial game line because of mechanics. And for context locate, if you want context.
Of course.
You make two characters at character creation. One is your normal self, and one is your shadow self. Alright? Your normal self is the one that wants to actually move on and achieve that sort of semi-heaven state.
Mm-hmm.
The shadow self, on the other hand, seeks destructive oblivion.
Uh-huh.
So, you play your normal self, and there are ways that trigger your shadow self, and you get switched over to that. But you don't play your shadow self and decide your decisions for the shadow self. No, you don't decide that. Another player decides that for you.
Oof.
And each of the players at the table have to decide for another player's shadow. So, I just explained one of the jokes and the introduction of World of Darkness video by Alpha Abuse's team. There's a minor joke in the video where they say, Wraith the Oblivion is fun and haunting, but at the same time, another player is contractually obligated to hit you with a horsewhip. Is a reference to the shadow mechanic, because basically they're going to play the character that's going to they're going to play the version of your character that's going to try to destroy itself, and that's going to cause you the most pain. And as Mr. Welsh has said in a video musing about the game line, you know, the intricacies and the plotting and the sociopolitics of Vampire have nothing on the feuding that Wraith players had because of someone metagaming and min-maxing the shadow self too hard, and as a result killing the character off. So that game line, that game line was the least popular in Old World of Darkness for a reason. It was adversarial between players, and that was a bad idea.
Oh god!
It also had one of the most poorly received supplements to ever exist in the game line.
Ow.
Do you want context for that, or we want to skip over it? It's a little
No, you do
controversial,
context.
to say the least. Okay, so I have to watch my wording here. Okay,
Bother me none.
World War II, very, very controversial event, shall we say. Had some controversial decisions and some controversial factions. All happened for very, very wide-reaching consequences of previous things and a lot of other things. We can all agree to that.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of factors. So, you know how game designers, in theory, can do whatever they want and put it to pen and paper, as long as they come up with the concept and ideas and stuff? Yeah. Okay, so this supplement for Wraith the Oblivion is that you play as you basically play one of the dead from the Holocaust.
Oh.
The spirits of the Holocaust. And there were a lot of game stores that did not allow that book to be sold at their store in protest of this, because it's a horrific event. Let's be. I'm not dancing. I'm not trying to dance around that. It was a very horrific thing. And so there's some things you don't. How do I put this? I'm being very delicate because of the touchy subject matter on platform. Because, there are lines to what you can and can't talk about in some.
Yeah. Well, you're doing fine. You're probably being a little too overly cautious. As long as you don't, like,
I take Mr. Walsh's stance. I take Mr. Walsh's stance on it. I applaud the ability to artistically, openly make a product like that, but at the same time, it's one that leaves a sour taste in everyone's mouth because of the subject matter. That's going to make people uncomfortable. And I'm going to be honest, not a lot of people have the maturity to handle such a topic without handling it in a distasteful manner. Also, I just got a text. My mom said help, so I guess that means she needs me to come get some things. So BRB.
Okay. Yep. Where's that? No bear again. Fucking serious? Ow. Run. Aha. Okay. Ow, that hurt. Right. Maybe we can get to Dawnstar. Pull some shit there and make that our next save point. God damn, I got my ass kicked so many times today. Trying to find this goddamn Snow Saber cat.
I'm back.
Come back.
So, yeah, that was a very controversial book, to say the
I
least.
can definitely understand why it was. It tackled a very touchy and
Yep.
sensitive and very divisive.
It's a divisive subject, to say the least.
Stone
So,
Star.
yeah,
Hmm?
but like I said, I also agree with Mr. Welsh's take. I do respect the arc that you do have the artistic freedom, especially at that time, to touch on it. Because keep in mind, in context, Vampire was doing what D&D and TSR wasn't doing anymore after the Satanic Panic. They shied away from those elements and those things, whereas Vampire and Old World of Darkness reveled in that edginess and that countercultureness. And anyway, getting back to the original point in the discussion, because I wandered it into the like I
wilderness?
always do. I wander into the weeds.
Fine.
The thing about it is that I think the other thing that makes cyberpunk much more popular in the cultural zeitgeist, especially more in much more recent history, is not just the resurgence of not only the tabletop, the popular anime based on the video game from the tabletop, but also it's a case of
pretty much anything to suit
Gothic
your needs.
punk is not as relatable as cyberpunk is, because cyberpunk, I think a lot of us can relate with it a lot more, is because we see some of that dystopian elements in our own reality at this point. Whatever walk of life you come from, you can definitely see the elements of it.
Yeah.
It's not full reality yet, but there are elements that have that feeling, that qualitative feeling of it. And that gives you the ability to relate with that genre, especially the punk aspects of cyberpunk is rebelling against the dystopian corporations and the society that have resulted from such things, pushing back against it and everything.
Yeah.
And that's why punk as a genre exists in the way as rebellion and all that. And that's why we use that term, is that for that reason. And
blades, helmets,
that's a part of why I think cyberpunk has now started to really hit its apex as a genre, especially now as technology has significantly advanced since the 80s.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I married Russ Lake when he was in Hammerfell.
I mean, if you look at some
Real
old
the finest
cyberpunk
weapons
and like
and
Shadowrun splat books from when they first originally came out, while we haven't reached
Farewell.
some technological things that they predicted,
We're getting damn close.
in other cases, we far advance. It's either close or we've advanced further than even the concepts they had all the way back then. Because even they didn't really have the concept of like cell phones were the concept of cell phones, like handheld cell phones the size that we have today, was a foreign concept in those books. There was still like street terminals for computers and other things like that. There wasn't, like laptops and PDAs and other things like that, or even even the cell phones we have being like miniaturized like computers that are even more advanced than what was in those books. That's I think it became a lot more relevant, even more so as technology advanced and the more dystopian our current society has become from a lot of things. So to me, that's why I think it has a lot more staying power at the moment.
Mhm.
And that's why I think it's hitting its stride. Whereas Gothic Punk fizzled out pretty quickly once the angst era was over. And now, granted, anyone looking back at that kind of stuff would be like, well, it's cringe. The LARPing, pretending to be vampires and all that, it's cringe. And it's like, I get that.
Mhm.
I can get that point of view from, like, a modern lens. But at the same time, I also look at it from what Robert told me, and, that was the popular thing in RPGs at the time. And the LARPs and everything. Like, there was a real cultural zeitgeist that was more popular than D&D at the time. There was an actual community that cropped up, and like Robert has said when recounting his own experiences with Vampire LARP, is that it allowed people to be to bond that came from so many different backgrounds
Mhm.
that might not have a commonality, but were able to join in. And a good thing that it did contribute is it added it appealed a lot more
Yes?
to women. It had a much more appeal to women. This is before Twilight, so, and I'm not even going to harp on Twilight. I'm going to just leave that be.
Yeah.
It,
Need something? Take a look.
it's that, it's that, it's because of that, a lot of it stopped being just, the hobby was less of a sausage fest. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Girls could start getting into it more, start getting into it a lot more and a lot easier. There were certain things that just appealed to it, and because at the same time, we enjoy the genres that we enjoy. There are still LARPs for Vampire, and there are still people who play Vampire online and thing. But I will say it's not in its heyday, and that's a very fair thing to say. But at the same time, I'm not going to disparage that, because
All right then.
things will always kind of shift in popularity. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how culture works. Things come, things go. They have their time in the sun.
Yep. And then
I
there are
mean,
some
once
who
upon a
refuse
time,
to let it go.
westerns were the popular movie genre.
Yes, the spaghetti western.
The spaghetti westerns and the westerns were the popular genre. Then it was the blockbuster movies. The high action film movies and all that stuff. The more recent genre is the superhero movie that
That's still going.
with the MCU and everything. I mean, it's starting to fizzle, but
Yeah, not fast enough, because they're still
really
trying to pump it.
starting to fizzle. Well, that's also, this is what happens with every genre. It takes a bit for them to fizzle out, because, how do I put this? Culturally speaking, corporations and all that stuff moves slower culturally than it does for like the actual culture itself.
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer for those ideas and things to fizzle out. And that's not, it's not me saying that's a bad thing. That's just me acknowledging that, yeah, it usually takes them a while to start to catch on to the trend, and it takes time for them to start fizzling out. And even then, how much of it is also a bean counter in an office saying, "Oh no, there's still money to be made here."
No, there's not. Leave it alone.
Well, of course, you and I can go like, yeah, people, taking their thumb off of it. People are not as interested. We should probably start looking for the next. We should start looking at what will be the next trend and next interest that we can. Because at the end of the day, people that make movies are still companies. They're still going to look for profits in business. That's their natural way of existing. That's and that's totally normal and totally fine. That's how it goes. It's just, again, like I said, it takes a lot for them to start shifting culture. And some people want to keep riding that zeitgeist, even when it's out of the zeitgeist culture at large. But there's still a place for niches. There will always be a place for niches. So that's what I think Vampire the Masquerade is, in Alone in Darkness is right now, is it's a niche within our hobby of tabletop RPGs.
I didn't.
It's
Oh
a fun
shit!
niche.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. God, ow!
What happened?
I was trying to shoot the troll in the face, but I missed and killed an Imperial. I kited the frost troll to the camp, and after getting back up, which they did.
Oh no!
And then when I took a pot shot at it, I killed somebody. So now they're upset with me.
Which is understandable, but it was also an accident. But
They don't care. It's Skyrim. You killed one of us, you're now immediately an enemy. It's like, no. I was trying to help with the frost troll, I swear. I'm hoping to buy some stuff off of them too.
now,
Hmm?
I do have like one idea that I clicked into place
Mm-hmm.
whenever I was reading and understanding things. So it was when I found out about the what's called the technocracy in Old World of Darkness, specifically the Mage Line.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to explain their faction, their organization, is, you might know from Cultural Zeitgeist the concept of the book 1984, I believe.
Yeah.
Is the name of it. The Big Brother thing.
Yeah. I know of it.
Yep. Well, everyone in the culture knows of it. Even read the story. We know of it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So basically, it treats that book as like the Tenocracy's playbook, so, quote unquote, in one of the supplements of how they conduct things in reality and stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And I started looking at that, and then I was like, and how they create like how they run things, how technology worked for them, how things do, and everything, and then I kind of realized, kind of sort of in the moment, I realized something interesting. You could actually take the World of Darkness and move it into the not only the digital age, you can technically move it into a dystopian age, and it still works.
Well, absolutely would still work.
And some people are a little freaked out of mixing gothic punk with cyberpunk a bit.
Oh hell no, that'd be so cool.
But I think it could technically work to a certain extent. but not go like super all out. Like do some subdued, like a couple
Mhm.
steps below like full cyberpunk,
Yeah.
and you could definitely pull it off.
Well, that's where you kind of look at Shadowrun.
Well, and that's why I was like, you can
Early
kind of
Shadowrun.
get close to like Shadowrun steel with it, almost. But also, I was like, I need to slow down the thinking on that because it's like, but I do have that idea brewing at the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
just,
would-
getting used to the storyteller system for World of Darkness and how to run things.
Yeah. It would definitely take some time to adjust.
But what
'cause
you
it's
think, Loki?
so different. I think it'd be fucking phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a blast to give it a try.
I think there's some story potential in it, that I think might be unexplored. It's uncharted territory, I think.
Oh, maybe not entirely Uncharted. I'm sure there's other people out there who've thought it up and tried it. But definitely Uncharted territory for you.
Well,
I think you'd have a lot of fun with
it's
it.
uncharted territory for us and our group. And I wouldn't say it's like completely uncharted because, like you said, Shadowrun exists. But I think this could be a fusion blend that could work out really well if it was done right. It's just trying to get that mood and tone down,
Yeah.
is to combine the two. Anyway, I was just asking you to see what you thought on such a thing.
Oh, that's gonna be cool as shit.
'Cause I think
I think you do it very, very well.
you'd be done.
But you gotta finish all your current projects first. You're adding more and more to your plate when you already have so many on your plate. Leave it with a sticky note and a thumbtack, but save it for another
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, you still have to do your Fabulous Ultima and get that off the ground because that hasn't seen the light of day. Once you finish your Giant Slayer, and you finish the Harry Potter,
Oh, we should
And
be
the
wrapping
one-shot.
up Harry Potter this year. Yeah, well, and the one shot and the one-off Chronicle for World of Darkness that gets my foot in the door and trying it.
you know. And there's, I think you're part of Robert's
Because-
Playboy post, aren't you?
That thing's been on halt for so long.
I'll consider it dead.
I'm not considering it dead because it's a play-by post, but it's very obvious. Well, one person has like a job that requires them to be very active and move about and do things and all that. So he's been very busy, so I get it. But one player has also been running a BattleTech campaign, and he's been more interested in posting and doing and playing that
really necessary?
than the play-by post.
Hello, friend.
And Robert,
Good to see you.
I feel for him. He feels a bit discouraged because of it. I get it, but also play-by posts are very hard to keep engagement on.
Mm-hmm.
Because the downside to being able to post to whenever you want
Just that.
is that, but also I am very terrible. Every time I took online classes in school, I've always failed them because it's hard to keep me engaged in those. So
Yeah.
I have this habit where like I'll super post for a bit, but then I'll just forget about it.
Yeah.
So I will actually admit that I have a part in being problematic with it. It's like I get super into it for a bit, and then I stop posting, and then I just casually forget about it because I'm working on other things.
Mm-hmm. You play with other projects rather than keeping yourself in check with the current projects you're running on.
Well, it's not just keeping me in check with other things. It's just sometimes I have so much art on my. I just focus on each thing at a time because I can't multitask,
Hmm.
and I will definitely get lost in focusing on things that I forget about other things on a peripheral sense. And I mean, it's kind of part of my where I'm neurodivergent at. So it's very,
Just,
very much a difficult thing.
it's also something you can work on to make better. Just takes a lot of effort to do it.
Yep. Well, and the other reason why I don't want to run that anytime soon is I have not jumped into the deep end of World of Darkness, which is Mage, because Mage is the deep end.
Yeah, because there's probably all sorts of systems you have to worry about, and the magic probably is quite
Um,
complex.
it's let's put it this way: it's very World of Darkness in general is very esoteric, but Mage is a whole different level of esoteric from others.
Just saying something. Horrible there. But hey, it's Maik. Hi, Maik.
Some say Alduin is Akatosh. Some say Maik is a liar. Don't you believe either of those things? Maik was soul-trapped once. Not very pleasant. You should think about that once in a while.
Good thing I don't soul trap people.
Nord's armor has lots of fur. This sometimes makes Maik nervous. Maik is tired now. Go bother
Talking to
someone
Maik.
else.
So cool to see him. Where the hell are they? But to tell you how long I've been hunting these fucking snow saber cats, it's been 4 stream days since I've been looking for these things.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I'm assuming snow saber cats are like specific level spawn or something. Because
They probably are.
I didn't think that they were, but they might
I-
be. 'Cause I
I
think
don't
came across a saber
remember
cat
encountering
recently.
them too frequently until I don't know what the level threshold was. But it was basically when wolves started to get less frequent
I still have a lot of wolves right
and
now.
bears.
I have
Yeah,
bears showing
because
up now.
bears would be a little less frequent and wolves would be a little less frequent, but it also depended on location as well. So it was still, you're still getting wolves all the way down at Falkreath. You were always
Yeah.
going to see them there as long with bears.
Yeah.
But saber cats, I think they're at a certain level threshold where they really start spawning in larger numbers.
Yeah, I think I just like barely touching at it because I've only had one spawn thus far. I think I'm a little too low leveled for them, so I might be moving on to another quest. I think just find like 20 of them. Oh, that's a big frost troll. Nope. Nope. Like I said, have I ever shown you like the size of frost trolls I can get in this game with that mod? I don't think I ever have.
I don't think I have.
I'll go grab the clip after the stream and show you just how large those things are. Because I'm assuming you at least remember some of the scaling from Skyrim, even vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Because the clip I'm going to send you takes place just northwest of Winterhold, or that ice flow area.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the clip I'm gonna send it from you, for you, where it takes place.
Okay.
That's a bear. No, 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 no. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. If I knew you were there, I wouldn't have gone through here, bear. That was close. I say one bear multi-attack and I'm dead. all it takes. Yes. Those guys aren't friendly either. Oh, it is friendly. Cool. Huh. Mud crabs. That is the bandit camp. God damn it. I'm literally going from one bad situation to the next. Leave me alone. Death, Solitude, Mark Earth, yeah, okay. Whatever. I was like, how that bear? Why the fuck is that bear still after me? No, it's the fucking 2 mud crabs. Where are you? I know I shouldn't put my bow away. I don't see him. Oh. There he is. One. 2. Alright. Looks like my goat took care of one of them. Rough take. Let's go to Rorikstead. Way to go, goat! My goat killed another bandit. noise. I heard a howl. That one anymore. Uh, hmm. You want to see my little boy Lokir? He promised me he would come home and visit his old ma this mid-year, but he never came. So I'm passing through this town, said they had seen him somewhere in Falkreath, but might have been mistaken. And you all think he is a scoundrel and that him leaving Rorix is for the better. But you are wrong, you just never understood him like I do. My poor boy wouldn't hurt a fly. I'm at my wit's end with my worry, so much that I can hardly run my shop anymore. What is an old woman to do when her only son goes missing, and her husband has been gone for many a winter? It is almost a relief to think that I have so little time left in this cruel world. I'll just have to hope that the one that waits on the other side will prove a more merciful one. My sweet little boy, how you always remind me so much of your father. Divines watch over your kind soul. Isabella.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything, or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over. If you need a meal or room, I've got both. Drink for the thirsty, food for the hungry.
I want... Thank you. Get that off my... Maybe I should sell you this stuff, huh?
No handouts and no bartering. Sure thing. It's yours for a day. Take a look.
Let's sell you back some stuff as well. Of course, some venison. I think that's good.
I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
Guessing over here since you froze? Yes. Alright. Go.